Hello and welcome. In the spirit of my brand new book, The Delicate Art of Transformation, I've been on a quest for truth. What does it actually take to create real, lasting transformation? And here you are on the precipice of something big. I don't think that's a coincidence that we should ignore. Welcome, my friend. Welcome to the True Transformation Summit. This is where true growth and transformation happens when the right person says the right thing at the right time and it all clicks. Those are the moments that make all the difference, and that is what this summit is here for. You're going to hear from some incredible experts who every single one I personally invited to be here. So listen with an open heart, do what they say, take what resonates, try the practices, get their free gifts, and let this space be the place where you find your next step. My name is Talia Joy. I'm your host. And if you want all the free gifts, the resources, and the only place where you can be entered for prizes, you can join the Insider Circle for free below. All right, without further ado, take a deep breath in. Think about what you are transforming, what you are here for. And let's dive into today's episode. Hello, Loni. Welcome to the True Transformation Summit. How are you doing today, my friend?
Oh my God, I'm so good. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. And thank you for being here. This is so good. And I personally invited you here because I just love not only the education you offer, the tools. I love seeing you doing the physical exercises and the Pilates and all this stuff, but your energy is so grounding and you have so much to offer and embody when it comes to the nervous system. And I really see you as somebody who has modeled that. I've been watching you for years as our circles kind of, came in, and it's just so inspiring, relatable, but I just feel very real. And so I'm so excited to talk today about the nervous system and the role and in expansion and safety and all of that. So thank you again for being here.
Yeah, my pleasure. And I appreciate you seeing me.
So for anybody that is new to your work, share with us a little bit about who you are and your business.
Yeah, amazing. So as you said, my name is Loni Markman. Titles are a funny thing for me, so we'll give you one. I call myself a neurosomatic life coach. I'm a Pilates energetics teacher, and I've been teetering on a new title lately, which is a self-relationship coach.
Oh, that hit me.
Yeah.
Take my money.
I've been feeling that one too. So basically what I do, what all of those fancy things means, is I work with women to help get their brain and their body to become friends. So we can live in and with ourselves like this beautiful vessel that we have, and treat ourselves with such love and care and kindness, releasing that judgment and that shame and all the other things that come with when our brain and our body aren't connected. Right. So oftentimes we feel the stress and the overwhelm and the overthinking and the anxiety and the shame because we're in parts. We're not acting as a whole. And so that is my work on and off the mat, in and out of the kitchen. I'm a nutritionist by trade. So I kind of blend it all together to help people really create a deep core connection to who they are and how they want to be.
That is so powerful. And that self-relationship piece is such a big part of what we're talking about today, and such a big part in general that is almost subtle. It's like the underbelly to all the big, louder work we've been doing, right? Limiting beliefs and knowing the shadow and learning all these terms and stuff. But when we get through all that, as this community has, done a lot of work in these different areas, the relationship to the self is everything. So I kind of want to hear you just expand on that. And as we move forward, as we heal, as we go after our dreams, that role of our relationship with ourself and kind of what that means to you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, we are the longest relationship we will ever have. We are with ourselves all the time. When we are performing and speaking and talking and doing in a meeting or with our kids or whatever it is, when it's external. But what happens when it's internal? What happens in those quiet moments? What happens in the shuffle? What happens in the breath? What happens in the in-between? And that's where the relationship with self really comes into play. And
Mm.
so for me, what I have learned in my own self and in my practice over the years is we are often looking at this healing journey that it is, right? We know that. We know it's a journey. We know it's a process. We know it's a practice. It's not a one and done. But we look at it often as like we need to fix something. When I do X, Y will happen, or, and my goal with my clients and with myself is to not look at this relationship to self as anything that needs to be fixed. It's not broken. It just needs kindness. It needs compassion. It needs curiosity. It needs connection to you, for you, with you, by you, right? Not against you, not because Sally said, not because, you read it in a magazine. I'm dating myself. We're on social media, right? Like, not because it's something that someone else is doing. And we all get caught up in it, right? We get caught up in comparison or whatever. But how do we be with ourselves when nobody's watching and nobody's telling? How do we show? So that to me is really what creating a relationship to yourself means.
Yeah, that is just so powerful. And, I look back and reflect on the times where I've struggled the most. And, those listening, most of you know, some of you are new. I had an eating disorder for over 20 years of my life. And, the different struggles. I struggled in my body. I was bullied. I've had chronic pain since I was young. A lot of people can relate, maybe just digestive or hormone or immune system or just body image, not feeling good in our skin. It's just something a lot of us have been through, but we've learned in whatever way that we're almost fighting our body. Or as you said, it's something to be fixed or changed. We are something to be fixed or changed. So I'd almost like to hear for just a moment, those of us that have struggled with our body, whether it is an eating disorder, pain, or something, how you may see it as, we can kind of start to come into relationship with ourselves, or how without even realizing it, maybe we have slipped into almost feeling like we're fighting our bodies.
I mean, in all fairness, I think most of us have.
Mm-hmm.
Of us do, because we're conditioned to society. Like, we're bombarded with these things all the time about how to fix, right? I'm 48, so now I'm aging, perimenopausal. There's a whole nother level of having to fix myself, stay young, stay relevant, stay pretty, stay, no wrinkle. Like, whether I believe it or not, it's what the world is constantly telling me. So I have to have a really good conviction of who I am and how I get to be off the bat already, just as women in the States who, struggle with this, or, in this country. Um, so what I will say to that is, when we can be in awareness without judgment, I think that is truly when we can receive safety. So to me, safety is when the system is available to us to process change, to receive whatever it is we're trying to do. So oftentimes, even if we don't consciously know, but we're trying to fix ourselves, our system doesn't feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
So we're running on a low level of fight or flight. And that already disconnects us from being in our body.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we create a relationship to our body? We start to talk to it, right? We start to ask it questions. We start to really notice, like, what it's feeling without making it wrong or bad. That's one of my favorite questions that I have clients do. What is my body asking of me today? And like, how often do we really communicate? Like, just like, you would ask a partner, and you would want good communication with your partner. It's like the number one relationship rule. But how are we communicating with ourselves? Not just in self-talk, not just in healing inner child work. I'm literally talking about communication. asking your body the questions and then quieting the noise so we can try to listen to the answer.
Absolutely. And it's incredible as you practice this, how simple your body's needs are, and how, for myself anyway, coming from, what I just shared, I couldn't hear my body. That's why I was in an eating disorder, or one of the layers. But to hear it, for my body, it goes rest, slow down, or water, or like, I want a bath. It's so simple. And nurturing and loving, that it's funny that we're not taught to do this, or that it doesn't occur to most of us. And we think it's always going to be so complex and deep. And like, you have to get to the root of why maybe your body just wants a bath with some Epsom salts, throw in some lavender.
Yeah. And right. So now, okay, my body's constantly, it's saying rest. It's saying, so then now we have to get the brain and the body to agree, because the brain says, well, I can't fucking rest. I have a long laundry list of things that have to get done. And if I rest, that means I'm not productive. And then if I rest, and so we're meaning making and we're story creating on all of these other levels, why I can't listen to my body. But that body, as we've talked about before, that body will start to scream at us in some capacity. And then we don't have a choice but not to listen. Or we turn to other things. Like I think we've had this conversation before. My background as a nutritionist, I worked with eating disorders for years. And it was never really about the food. It was about that. This is why I do what I do now, because it was about the disconnect to your body. And so, yeah, you couldn't hear your body because we're not trained to hear our body. We're not trained to quiet the external noise and listen. We're trained to get permission from other people, to regulate, and co-regulation is beautiful. I'm not saying that, but to regulate with someone else. Happy, I'm happy, or whatever the case may be. But what does make you happy? Is it a bath with Epsom salt, right? And how then do I get to, once I've showed up for myself, check off my laundry list in a different state? Now I feel more grounded into who I am. I feel more connected to myself. I feel more aligned with my vision and my passion and my goals and my dreams. And I talk to my kid a little softer, and I, connect with my husband a little deeper, and I, throw the laundry in a little less bitter. Like, you know what I mean? And it takes just that moment. Sorry. It just takes that moment of connecting with ourselves. Sorry, I thought that was off. Of connecting with ourselves.
Yeah.
But giving ourselves permission to make that as important as anything else, if not more.
Yeah. It's like the roots to the tree, we can focus on having big, thick branches, but if the roots aren't there, it's going to fall over. There's a million ways we see this in life, but when it comes to ourselves, we don't realize often that we're about to topple over, or we're just ignoring the signs. I know for myself, it's like, I could even say like, yeah, I feel exhausted, I feel burnt out, but like, what am I going to do about it? I have a thing tomorrow and a Zoom call and 3 kids, and I just kept going for years, but I would like to come back for a second into, so we're talking about a relationship with ourself and our body. I want to kind of transition into the nervous system. There's so much talk about, and this is what we're talking about, but more almost physically for a second, breaking down the role the nervous system plays as you are growing or going after goals, or even just, wanting to improve your health, wanting to move in a better direction. I'd just love to hear from your perspective, the role of the nervous system, how it interacts with our growth.
Yeah. I mean, I think at the end of the day, we are whole beings, and we are in a state. We're always in a state: fight, flight, freeze, fawn. We're in a nervous system state. You don't have to be regulated or dysregulated. You don't have to be in parasympathetic or sympathetic. Like, yes, you are. And there is a lens that's leading the show. Okay. So if our nervous system doesn't feel safe enough to expand, we are going to self-sabotage. I don't love that word, but we're going to self-sabotage our way back to what is our nervous system baseline, what feels safe for us, which is why I don't even go sometimes into full nervous system. I say in the safety. Okay. right? If our body's in protection mode, oh my God, I'm in fight. Like this feels really scary to me. I'm going to run. Or, this feels really scary to me. I'm going to hide under my covers. I'm giving bigger examples, right? Because they're easier to understand. But those nervous system states shut us down because that's their job. Like this is our body doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing. Your nervous system scans the room and it says, am I safe? Am I safe? Am I safe? Am I safe? Is there danger? Is there danger? Is there danger? Is there danger? And that's it. That's its whole job. So when we perceive a phone call or a meal as dangerous, we are not able to enjoy. We are not able to expand. But we're not wrong or bad. It's our nervous system doing its job. So now we have to get into, what is it protecting us from? How do I find more safety in my system? So to me, it's less about, I think that this is the first line, right? We have to have awareness, awareness of what's happening. Then we have to unlearn what isn't ours. Because when we can unlearn what isn't ours, we create a little bit more safety in our own system. And that safety allows us to really understand our baseline, our capacity, right? Our ability to expand, to grow, to dream. I mean, I'll give you an example. I grew up in a very tumultuous, childhood. My parents weren't just not there for me at all. Then they both passed. Like it was constantly the rug getting pulled out from underneath me. I didn't know this, consciously, but I never could dream. I never could hold big visions because my nervous system didn't feel safe to do that. Because if something would happen and I would dream, something bad would happen. So subconsciously, I was self-sabotaging these big dreams because my nervous system, we're going to stay here and play safe, not the safety I'm talking about, but play it safe so you don't feel, I don't need to protect you. I know that you're going to be okay at this baseline, at this level. So to me, expansion, growth, dreams, desires are really about connecting with your body where it is now, learning to love what is now in order to go somewhere else, creating the baseline of safety in this system currently. So therefore we could slowly stack, we call it titration in the nervous system, slowly stack new baselines and a new baseline. Hey, here's my new baseline. Oh, nervous system feels comfortable. I'm going to push it to the growth edge just a little, and then it feels comfortable. It's not like I'm going to go from 0 to 60. My nervous system might not like that. Actually, your nervous system won't like that. You might fly and take off for a little while, but then you typically, that's why people who win the lottery, right? They end up losing all the money, those kind of things, right? Because we haven't built our nervous system to find safety there yet.
Yeah, that's so powerful. I love how you're saying that. I can definitely see that in my own life, always having big dreams and big goals. And I know a lot of you listening can relate, but then feeling whether it's sabotage or just same cycles, getting caught up in the same looping patterns that aren't what I want, whether it's in business or with my body or whatever else. And the difference now as I learn more deeply and practice more deeply and, experience what you're talking about, it's so different going after something from safety or knowing how, as you said, to just push the growth edge, get comfortable there. And it almost reminds me of Atomic Habits, like that sort of mentality of little bits at a time stack. And we learn a little bit more safety, a little bit more tolerance, a little bit more tolerance. And soon we are able to go after those bigger things that seemed terrifying to our body. A lot of times it's terrifying to our mind, but it can also, as you're saying, be terrifying to the body. So I would love to hear if somebody's, listening to this and still a little bit like, okay, how do I know if I feel safe in my body? And if they are in a pattern with, say, it's health or it's business, and there's that self-sabotage type cycle, or at least a ceiling that's being hit, and then we kind of feel like we're going back. What advice and how do we start to move forward with that a little bit more to know that we're feeling safe or that we're moving in the right direction?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the first is to start to really communicate with yourself and notice. We skip some of this, right? Like we need to notice our patterns. I have my clients take like noticing notes, like literally, when do you push? When are you tired? When do you feel most jazzed? When do you keep eating when you're full? When do you not say the thing that you want to say? Like, and notice those patterns, right? Because it usually we're repeating them, like you said, in some different way in our life. So first we just need to notice, and we need to notice without making it wrong or bad. And we need to notice without judgment, just a little bit like of self-love. Okay, like I'm noticing that this is what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the first step in creating safety in the system, is because safety isn't something you go after. It's not something external. It's not something you're chasing. It's a felt sense. It's an experience within. My safety is going to be different than your safety. It's going to look different. It's going to show up different. And all of that, is beautiful. To me, to know safety in the system is like when you're not reactive, when you're not defensive, when you're not trying to fix, right? That is how we know if we're finding that safety. Practice tips. I love this question. Is it fact or fiction? I think this is a great way to notice how we create safety in the system. Is it fact or fiction? So you're going to ask yourself that a lot throughout the day. Like, am I meaning making a story that is creating my system to spiral? Is that fact or is that fiction? Right? I just read that email. That person must not like me. Like, what did I do wrong to them? And now I'm spiraling in a sense. Now I'm creating stress in my body. Now I don't have safety. And the body holds on to that. The body stores that in the cells and the tissues and the DNA. So next time something happens, that's the reaction it's going to have. So if we ask the simple question, is this fact or fiction? And you could say, okay, all the email says is I'm not available now, right? Or whatever it says. It said nothing more than that. And that's the fact. The fiction is we created this whole story behind it. Mm-hmm. And so if we can stay in that, it keeps us present in the moment. It keeps us real in what's happening in the scenario. And it allows to create safety in the system because we haven't brought in meaning making.
Yes. That is so powerful. It's like a check, but it's with love, because so often we'll go like, well, don't think that's negative, or why are you doing that again? And we just keep piling on more of the same. But I love that. Like, hang on, fact or fiction. And it kind of makes you be real with yourself, right? Because we're here to be real. Growth sometimes, has us really reflect on those things of what we're making something mean. And so I love that. Such a simple question. Just, is this fact or fiction? And I know sometimes we go, oh, this will never work out, or I'm never going to get the results, or I can't, stop, hang on, fact or fiction, that it's never going to work out, or no one's ever going to buy your thing or whatever.
In my opinion, how we create confidence, which is an end goal and desire for most people, right? We want to be confident beings, is when we can hold what you just said, like even when I don't know, even when I don't have the proof, I have the belief in myself because I've created such a beautiful relationship. My brain and my belly are friends. I'm in alignment with what I want. I know that if it doesn't work, it didn't make me a wrong or bad person. I know if I eat the ice cream, it doesn't make me, fat. I know that, and we take away the story and the meaning making. It gives us that ability to say, even though I don't have proof, I believe this. I know I can do this. And that right there creates safety in the system to do the thing and find the confidence, even when you don't know how it's going to turn out. And then the proof happens. Okay. I did the thing. I didn't know how it was going to go. And look, I'm still here. Maybe I didn't get 20 people into my program, and that doesn't make me wrong or bad. But I did the thing, and I created the safety in the system to say, I can put myself out there.
That's so powerful. And for me, like, as I'm hearing you say this, I know that, say I put out a thing and I didn't get 20 people in the program, the best part I can walk away with is that I didn't turn on myself. And that's been such a difference of like, you know what? We didn't do that, or I didn't smash my fitness goals this week, or I didn't whatever. And I didn't turn on my own back. And that's the part that I'll be like, happy dance. I didn't turn on myself for that. I gave myself grace. I gave myself understanding. And that to me lights a fire to be like, okay, let's go smash next week. Like, it gives me that quote unquote motivation and that life force energy to fuel my life or go after my stuff, because it's coming from that love space.
And I love that you mentioned that, because when I'm talking to clients about things about like creating goals and visions and big dreams, oftentimes, sure, we base them on monetary numbers or people we want into programs, but how do you want to feel? Like, if I want to feel rested, did I do the things to support the way I want to feel? And I think we miss that part a lot, which is that feeling. Like, how do I want to feel today? You don't even have to do it for a week or a quarter, but like, hand on heart, hand on belly, like, how do I want to feel today? What is my body asking for me? Sometimes it might be the bath. Sometimes it might be like, I need a dance party. Sometimes it might be like, I'm really craving something sweet and I'm just going to give into, having this beautiful dessert and make it be the most delicious moment ever. And like, let it fill my love cup. But what does your body want? Not what your brain or your mind thinks it should do, but like, what does it want in that moment, in that day? And sometimes that in and of itself is the happy dance we need, because we're listening.
Absolutely. Oh, I love this conversation so much. And I just think it's so important and has made all the difference. I was saying before we hit record, I hate when people say, this is the one key to all of this. And yes, everything I've done is stacked on each other. I won't underestimate the other work we've done, but this nervous system piece and everything, exactly what you're saying, has been the hugest difference in my life. It felt like everything stacked, and this started to like seal the deal of real transformation. When we talk about real transformation from the inside out, and it's so important. So I'm so thankful you do the work you do with your clients, and thank you for sharing all of this today. And as we wrap up, I just kind of want to hear, when it comes to true transformation, as an overarching theme, if there's anything unsaid or how you want to kind of sum it up, why is this safety piece? Why is this relationship with ourself and our body piece so important when it comes to true transformation?
Let's think about your relationship with someone else, right? And you don't feel safe with them. What happens? You tense up, you tighten, you don't share your truth, you shrink, all of those things. Now imagine not having that within your own self. And you're constantly with yourself. So now you're overriding, you're overthinking, you might be, self betraying or abandoning your own desires and goals to fit. And so all of the things we think about when we don't find safety, and we know this externally. So this is why, to me, it's so important to have the safety in your own self and create, like, it's not about just change the behavior. It's first about connect to your own body. And when we can connect to our own body and soften our system and find safety and self-trust within, behavior will change automatically, because you're going to go for that desired state differently, right? Because the body is running the show. So that, to me, is why the safety is so important with yourself. Just like you would never get into a relationship that felt unsafe to you logically, same thing that you're not going to do with your own self.
So powerful. It's like our inner roommate, that relationship, as you said so beautifully, that we have our whole life. that can make or break it. Imagine having someone follow you around being like, you're wearing that, you're a piece of crap. Or having someone follow you around being like, go for it. We stumbled, we fell. It's okay. Have a dance party. You're still amazing. How much of a difference that would make in your life. And yes, as you said, that's what's happening. We always have that inner voice, that relationship, trust, no trust, whatever it is. And we're always with ourselves. So
Yeah. I mean, yeah, no. And I know this is probably a separate conversation, but this is why I got big into parts work. I don't know how familiar you are with IFS and parts work, somatic parts work, because that's the truth, right? We have a lot of voices in our own head. It's not just me and me. It's me and my people pleaser and my caretaker and my controller part and then my, like dance partner and like they're all welcome at the table, but I want to run my own show from my self energy. And so, just like there's nothing more beautiful than really getting to know yourself and allowing all of your parts to be present at the table. Think stacks. Think stacks. And that's the beauty of this work is, you can dive deep because you kind of do when you feel it, you know it, and you're like, oh my God, this changes everything. And you dive deep. And just to know, like a moment, like a micro moment throughout the day, stack. You don't have 20 minutes to meditate? Cool. Take 1 minute to take a breath, 30 seconds over here, 5 minutes over here, and it all brings you back to home, to yourself.
Thank you so much. I just want to hear you talk about it all. You were saying all the parts are welcome at the table. And I just heard like, yes, they're all welcome at the table, but not all of them get the keys to the bus. And that's the part, right? It's your self energy that we aim to, and what you're talking to can drive the bus, hopefully, and lead us. And all of these parts are welcome. So I just love that so much. Thank you. Thank you for sharing this. And you have a free gift for everybody, don't you?
I do. So I run a monthly membership. It's called Corematics. It is where I bring nervous system safety into body-led core movement. So we really tap into the power of the body and the belly on the mat and off the mat. And everyone can get that free gift. You'll drop it below or amazing. And then I also have my body blueprint, which is a 7-day like DIY guide to helping you live in a body you love. It's all somatic practices to connect you to your own self.
Thank you so much. That's an incredible and generous gift, a month in the membership and the body blueprint, as well as I know we're doing a draw this week that you're offering 3 days in Telegram. Yes. As well as the body blueprint.
Coaching work for sure. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. All right. Well, thank you again so much, Loni. This has been such a pleasure. And I just really appreciate your voice in this summit.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And thank you for putting this out there because we all need this work. And it's so good. It's so good.
It's so good.
So good. I love it. Spread the word.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for tuning in to the True Transformation Summit. Make sure to take what this guest said, implement it into your life, check the show notes for their gift and to follow along on the journey, and make sure to tune in to the next guest episode. Namaste.